Welcome to Wittenberg Academy's Latin Readings 1. We are reading Gaius Julius Caesar, De Bello Gallico, Book 1. And so you should be working from your study book. In this text, of course, is where you should have your notes in the double-spaced portion. And then as you try to work through it, you've also got a totally clean text in the back, single-spaced. So you should have this and ready to make additional notes to where you made notes in the double-spaced portion. And then also you should have your interlinear translation and grammatical notes. You should have that handy in case I refer to that. All right, and so this is simply a sample. I'm going to do just the first section. And it's a sample of kind of how we'll do things during the live Skype sessions, or if nobody is available for a live Skype session, I'll simply go through at least the amount that you have gotten done over the course of the week. Because remember how the course works is that you need to spend 3 45-minute sessions each week working through this, using this only sparingly, as little as you can, so that you're really working through the grammar yourself, and that's how you're going to grow the most. That's how you're going to learn the most, is struggling with it yourself. You've got the interlinear there to serve as an easy access dictionary. You've got grammatical notes if you really just can't puzzle out the grammar, but you will learn so much more if you really try to puzzle out the grammar and the sentence structure, parse every verb, make sure you understand how each noun should be declined, etc. Struggle with that yourself. I don't expect you to do 10 pages a week. I expect you to put in 45 minutes 3 times a day, working as hard as you can. Then you need to take a picture or scan in what pages you have done over the course of the week. Upload those at the course by the end of Friday. And then in the following week, I will try to arrange a time to do it via Skype to go over what you've gotten done. And if that's not available, if you can't make the Skype date, then I will at the very least do one of these videos where I walk through what you've gotten done in the past week. So this is a sample of that for this first week. After you get done with puzzling through the first section, you can watch this and you'll get a feel for the rhythm of the course then. All right, so we begin. Gallia est omnis divisa in partes tres. Pretty easy. Gaul is divided. All Gaul. Omnis Gallia. Omnis is feminine singular, nominative. Gallia est omnis divisa. All Gaul is divided into 3 parts. Quarum unam incollant Belgae. Quarum, that's genitive, of which, one, unum. One of which. Well, but unum there is accusative, so that's got to be the object, direct object. Well, where's my verb? Incollant. And where's the noun that goes with it? Belgae. The Belgians dwell in one part, or the Belgians inhabit one part of which. So of these 3 parts, the Belgians inhabit one of them. Aliam Aquitani. The Aquitani, another. Tertium, qui ipsorum lingua Celtae, nostra Galli appellantur. The third, now who dwells in the third? Qui, those who. The third, those who, lingua ipsorum, lingua is ablative, in the tongue of themselves, ipsorum, of themselves, who in the tongue of themselves, now you need your verb, appellantur, are called Celts. Nostra, in ours, in our tongue, in our language, They're called Galli, Gauls. Hi omnes lingua institutis legibus inter se different. So the verb is different, they differ. What's the nominative that goes with it? Hi omnes, all these differ. How do they differ? Lingua, in language, ablative. In institutions and customs. And legibus, in laws, inter se, among themselves. All these differ among themselves in language, customs, and laws. Gallos ab aquitanis garumna flumen, abelgis matrona et sequana devidit. So, my verb is devidit. What is the noun that goes with it? Is there a noun in the nominative? Yes, flumen. Garumna flumen. So the Garumna flumen, the river Garonne, we say today, but the Garumna River divides. What does it divide? Well, it needs a direct object, something in the accusative. So the Garonne River divides the Gauls, Gallos, ab Aquitanis, from the Aquitani, and the Matrona River and the Sequana River divide the Gallos, a Belgis, from the Belgians. Horum omnium fortissime sunt Belgae, propterea quod a cultu aqua humanitate provinciae longissime absunt, minima qua ad eos mercatore saepa comeant, aqua eaquae ad effeminandos aquos pertinet important, proxima qua sunt Germanis, qui trans renum incolent, quibuscum continentur bellum gerent. That is a very long sentence. Obviously, we need to take it in parts. We need to take it in clauses. So we go back to the beginning. Horum omnium fortissima sunt Belgae, propterea. Propterea quod, that's a conjunction. So we know that's beginning a new clause. So we can just take it up to there. Horum omnium. Of all these, fortissimi sunt Belgae. The Belgians are the most brave, the most sturdy, if you will. Propterea quod. Because of this, propterea means because of this, that, what? I need a verb. A cultu aqua humanitate provincia longissime absunt. Because of this, that they are absent, that they dwell away from what? Cultu, from the culture. Aqua humanitate, from the sophistication, the humanity, the higher pursuits of humanity. Because they dwell away from longissime, for they dwell farthest away from the culture and sophistication of the province, that is, of the Gallic province, southern Gaul, which was a Roman province already at this time. And we're talking here roughly, let's call it the year 55 BC or 60 BC. And to this day, that part of France is called Provence, the province. All right, continuing on. Minime qua ad eos mercatores saepa comeant aqua eaquae ad effeminandos animos pertinent important. Proxime sunt Germanis. Oh goodness. So we're just, how are we going to do this? And minime, and least, ad eos mercatores, unto those sellers, saepa comeant. Okay, and least often they deal with, comeant, they deal with those sellers, those merchants, and those things, eaquae, those things which ad effeminandos animos pertinent. Now, if you were confused with ad effeminandos animos, I hope you look that up in your grammar guide. And so let's find where, so this looks like we are on page 4. In line 13, ad effeminandos animos pertinent. So you have a note in line 13, effeminandos. It limits, that means it agrees with, animos, and is accusative plural gerundive of the verb effemino, to change one's nature, to make a woman out of something. Animos is accusative plural of animus. The better translation of this so-called gerundive construction is to translate it as if there were a gerund with a direct object. So, very literally, ad effeminandos animos, those things, ea quae, those things which pertinent, those things which pertain or lead to, unto the minds having been or about to be womanized. But again, the better translation is to translate it as those things which pertain, those things which lead to making the minds effeminate, to making minds effeminate. Oh, and now a verb, important, because least of all they deal with they least of all deal with the merchants, and they least of all import. They least of all import those things which lead to making one's nature, one's mind effeminate. Proximi qua, and they are nearest to the Germans. Qui trans Rhenum incolent, who dwell across the Rhine River, the wild Germans. Quibus cum continentur bellum gerent, with whom they are constantly waging war. Is that right for continenter? I've got to look up that word. Continenter. Continually, yeah. So they're continually waging war. Quod causa helvetii quoque relicus Gallos virtute praecedent, quod fere quotidianus proelis cum Germanis contendent, cum aut suis finibus, eius prohibient, aut ipsi in eorum finibus bellum gerent. So another long sentence, and again, we'll just take it a piece at a time. Qua de causa. De will often go after the word it modifies, so this is de qua causa, of this, for this cause, on account of this cause, because. Because the Helvetians also, praecedent, are near the rest of the, praecedent. For this reason, the Helvetians exceed or stand out from the rest of the Gauls in virtue and in strength. Because, quote, contendent, there's my verb, they contend, cum Germanis, with the Germans, fere quotidianus, in almost daily proeliis, battles. Cum aut suis finibus eius prohibent, aut ipsi in orum finibus bellum gerent. Cum, so this is cum followed by a subjunctive, so it's going to have some sense of, it could be causative here, so let's try since. That's usually a good thing to try with cum. Since, prohibent, they prevent them, or they bar them, suis finibus, from our borders, for either they keep them from our borders, or they themselves wage war within their borders. So, I said our borders, I meant their own borders, suis, their own finibus. So, since either they are keeping them from their own borders, or they themselves wage war within the German boundaries. Eorum una pars quam Gallos obtinere dictum est, initium capit a flumine Rodano, continetur garumna flumine, oceano, finibus belgaro, etc., etc., etc. Another long sentence. We'll take it a piece at a time. One of which, okay, so one of these, the part, pars, one of these, the part, which it has been said, dictum, which it has been said, the Gauls hold. So, dictum est, it has been said, that's followed by this accusative plus infinitive. It has been said the Gauls to have. It has been said that the Gauls hold this part. So one of which, the part which it has been said the Gauls hold, caput initium, takes its beginning from the river Rhone, Rodano, from we call the river Rhone. It is contained, okay, the Garumna, it is contained by the Garumna River, by the ocean, that is the Atlantic Ocean, by the borders of the Belgians. It touches also, what is it? Oh, the river Rhine, the Rhine River also touches it from the Sequani, that is on the side of the Sequani, and the Helvetians, that is the Swiss. It verges to the north. It turns toward the seven stars, the Big Dipper, the north. Okay. Belgae ab extremis Galliae finibus orientur, pertinet ad inferiorum partem flumini Rheni, spectant in septentrionum et orientum solum. The Belgians, orientur, they arise from the extreme boundaries of Gaul, and they tend toward the lower part of the river Rhine. They look to the north and the rising of the sun, the rising sun, the east. The Aquitani, now I'm looking for a verb, pertinent, okay? Aquitania, not Aquitani, Aquitania, the region. Aquitania, from the Garonne River to the Pyrenees Mountains, and to that part of the ocean which is towards Spain, okay, reaches. Okay, so Aquitania reaches, pertinent, from the river Garonne to the Pyrenees Mountains and to that part of the ocean which is toward Spain. It looks between the occasum solis, between the falling of the sun, the west, to the north. So he's given us a little bit of the natural history here as well. We get the geography of this area of Gaul he's going to be in, and a little bit about the people groups. So, upload your, when you're done with your 45 minutes, when you're done with your 45 minutes 3 times this week, upload a picture of your work so I can get an idea of about how far you're making it in that time. And remember, work yourself, mainly with this book, using this book just as a dictionary and as help if you really get stuck with grammar. But don't just automatically, never run to the translation that's in here. Because that's going to get you moving faster than you need to be moving in this, and you'll get ahead of yourself and won't be learning anything. So use those 45 minutes. Let them be a struggle. That's how you learn. And next week, Lord willing, we'll go over everything that you've had a chance to get through.